Alright. Hey guys, Wolf of Dimensions here with a new video, and this time I'm talking about the importance of Godzilla in the Kaiju universe and the film universe. And to start off, we all know his technical influence, the reason why Godzilla exists, the central message. I'll state it again. He exists because of humanity's fault with nuclear weapons and going against nature and destroying nature, which has created a monster which, cannot be destroyed or killed by conventional weapons. Now, this is the original. Then you have the hero Godzilla, which point was is that he was a defender of Earth, and even if he couldn't really get along with people, he would still protect his home. And it even got to the point where Godzilla even helped people. But, start off, I know there are other monsters. Like, I know Gamera, who came around a little bit after Godzilla did. He was interesting. He was a bigger factor. He had a big role in the Showa series. He was kind of different. He was a turtle, had a bit of a different storyline, a different ending. I know his importance, but I feel like his importance overall was not nearly as it wasn't as impacting as Godzilla's. So that's why I've really not made a video for him. Now, if you guys are interested, I will, because I do like Gamera. I respect the monster that Gamera is, but I feel like he goes along more with the clash and sci-fi 60s to 70s, like late 60s to 70s Godzilla, the more of the hero fighting one. I feel like Gamera goes along more with that than the original or even the 2016. Well, I mean, also, Ultraman was another influential figure in the Kaiju universe. He played a big role in Japan's future outlooks. I'm not sure, I can't remember, but he could have actually had influence. Him and Zone Fighter could have had influence on the creation of Power Rangers. It's been a while because I thought I heard someone talking about that. Of course, I will definitely not be discussing Power Rangers because even though they have monsters, it is a very different world and it is something I do not want to get touched into. Ultraman was cool because it had a variety of monsters, and it also had a variety of different Ultraman depending on the seasons. But I'm not really too big into some of the monsters on that show. I liked Gamera. He looked really cool. But most of those monsters to me just look too weird, and that's just my own preference. No one should be upset by what I say or what I do. And, we also have Zone Fighter. Godzilla had teamed up with Zone Fighter. Toho had let Godzilla team up with Zone Fighter. And this is where Gigan's death came into play, which is pretty cool because in the Showa series we got to see Gigan, and we got to see him get defeated and over and over and run away over and over. But in Zone Fighter, you got to see Gigan's actual death. It just mattered if you were really into Zone Fighter or not. And so there was that little factor, and that was fun. Now, I'd like to state that, yes, I get that Kong came in earlier than Godzilla, and I know that Kong played an important role, but the thing is about Kong is that he's technically in a whole different genre. He's not the towering monster, and he's American-based. A lot of the Kaiju stuff really came from Japan. He's not that big. He didn't have a very central message that I saw. I mean, I'm not saying it's wrong or bad or anything. And another one that especially, this one is different. The Beast from 20,000 Fathoms. It is the closest to an American kaiju movie I could ever find or ever think of, really. But, well, in the earlier era, I'm sorry. But, I'm not counting him in this. Yes, he did have influential things on Japan and even on Godzilla, I believe. But, his role in this is a lot more minor than Godzilla's, and I actually might watch this movie and review it at a later date because I'm kind of interested. I will after I'll be doing Godzilla and stuff, but I want to put a lot of focus on Godzilla, and I just want to tell you beforehand that all these other monsters and kaiju like things I respect, and I know they're there and I know that they're important, but I think Godzilla has slightly more importance than all of them. Now, back to Godzilla. I believe that Godzilla's role is important in certain aspects. he has the message, he has the persona, but in the real world, Godzilla couldn't be stop motion. They didn't have the budget or the time, so they made suits, and this is where suits really became big. And it just made it made movies different for Japan. It was also around the time of the occupation of Japan by the United States, so you couldn't really say anything horrible about the United States, or your film license would be taken away, and you might even get arrested. I think. Don't sure don't believe everything I say 100%. It's just what I can remember, but so they had to find a way to show the message of anti-nuclear war without going against the United States, who had most recently used a hydrogen bomb and were really the only ones who had any major, you know, weapons. I'm not sure. I can't remember if Russia did in '54 or not, but I think United States had more. So his importance really goes all the way to like human nature. Godzilla is just an animal like all of us. And sometimes he isn't, depending on the movie, but usually he's just an animal like us who's been hurt or screwed over by human conflict. And that's what makes him important, is that he is central, he is key to the universe around him. He is created by the outcome of our choices, whereas other monsters usually aren't, and even if they are, they're not as implied as much. Godzilla's importance in the universe is such. I don't know how to explain it. But, he also he changed the way of cinema in Japan for a long time. Like, not too long after this, you had Mothra and Rodan, and it just unleashed a new variety of film in Japan and a new way for them to make revenue. And in the monster world, in the kaiju world, he plays an important role by being that monster that always comes back. He's always going to be there. Like, King Ghidorah might die, or Anguirus might die, or even, like, Mothra will die, but Godzilla will always be there. Godzilla will never go away, and you cannot live without Godzilla. He is the shadow of human doubt. He is like our fears. He is our prayers. He's our hopes, our sins. He is all of that combined. You can't just forget that he's there, or he'll strike back in a way that'll hurt you than he originally did. You can't forget Godzilla, but you can't worry about him all the time. He is a creature that symbolizes humanity, in my opinion, and the tragedy of humanity. And that's why he's so important. So, I will make an extended version of this later, maybe, get more into detail, but I just really, I want to get a feeling for this new line of subject. So, thanks for watching, guys. Like, comment, subscribe if you want. Wolf of Dimensions out.